We start today's show on April 29th, 2021. Why are we doing that, Rich? It's a rhetorical question.
So I don't have to answer.
I'll give you the answer.
All right, I'll be quiet.
Thank you. April 29th, 2021, I was sitting on an NFL Network draft set in Cleveland, Ohio for the first in-person draft in 2 years. We all remember what happened in 2020. And sitting on that Cleveland set and a few hours before the draft, the big question was, what are the 49ers doing trading up for that third overall draft choice when we all know it was going to be Trevor Lawrence first, going to the Jaguars, and Zach Wilson second to the Jets? What do they trade up all the way to 3 for? A few days before. And then, oh, boy, baby, word came that Aaron Rodgers wanted out of Green Bay. Remember that one? Because the year before, in that COVID draft, Aaron's sitting home apparently 2 fingers into a stiff drink and found out Jordan Love was being acquired. The draft rights, moving up, the Packers did to go get him. Apparently wasn't terribly pleased about that. Now he wanted out. And word was he was trying to force his way out to go to the San Francisco 49ers. Why not?
Yeah.
All right. That's the team of his youth. Growing up in Chico, California.
Chico.
It's entirely possible Aaron Rodgers was a young man sitting there in Chico, California, watching me do my sports on KRCR television in Redding, California in 1994 to 96 before ESPN hired me for a 1.0. Now I'm in the 2.0 right now. At any rate, that was all going on. And, Rodgers with Kyle Shanahan, like that's the good stuff. Rodgers, as we all know, is an MVP of the NFL. He stayed in Green Bay anyway. Nothing happened with the 49ers and Rodgers, and he went on to win another MVP award later on that year, coming up with a 4-touchdown game late in the season against the Bears that served to be his last such game until this past Sunday. Why am I starting with all this? Because everybody also thought the Niners had traded up in that draft to take Mac Jones.
Mac 10.
Remember that? That was a big thing. When they traded up initially, the first thought was it was for Mac Jones, the kid out of Alabama.
Had a huge year in Alabama.
And this is the type of guy that Shanahan wants. Like, we all know Shanahan and everybody in his system covets Kirk Cousins. Daniel Jeremiah, my buddy from NFL Network, always says if you are in that Shanahan system, McVay system, you must pay fealty to Kirk Cousins because Shanahan had Kirk in D.C. And the word was the Shanahans weren't terribly into RG3. That was a thumb on the scale by Dan Snyder. And they drafted Kirk Cousins later on in that draft. And Mac Jones was going to be Kirk Cousins 2.0, and they went with Trey Lance. Yada, yada, yada. Trey Lance goes there. Mac Jones goes to New England. He comes out of the draft green room like Vince McMahon. Remember that? Mac Jones is walking like Vince McMahon.
No.
He goes to New England. Trey Lance hardly plays a lick in San Francisco. Mac Jones has an incredible rookie season to the point where he's grittying in the Pro Bowl. And then the roof caves in for him there in New England. And Trey Lance gets a starting shot, but he gets hurt. Then Jimmy Garoppolo's there, and Jimmy Garoppolo gets hurt. And all of a sudden, the last pick in the draft, and Brock Purdy gets his shot, and he makes the most of it. And Purdy eventually takes the team to the Super Bowl, and he does very well in that Super Bowl. And this past offseason, he gets Piz aid, and his backup turns out to be Mac Jones. Winds up on the Niners anyway. And it's a smart move by him to join the Niners, right? If you're going to be a backup, you want to be a backup there. Look at Sam Darnold, who had a nice run there. And everybody thinks in the NFL, if you're going to be a backup, go to the San Francisco 49ers quarterback room. You're going to learn. You're going to be coached up. You're going to have a skill set that you can now take portably anywhere else. Sam Darnold, the perfect example. Let's go there. Let's get a little bit of time in the Shanahan system. We'll go to Kevin O'Connell. We'll win 14 games. Then we'll go to Seattle and get paid there. Brock Purdy in his first game as a Piz-Aid quarterback goes to Seattle and does the Purdy thing, which is win in Seattle. 4-0. Now there, 6-1 in his career against the Seattle Seahawks. And who knew when Purdy's running for his life with 90 ticks left in the game and he finds Jake Tonjes in the end zone, the guy backing up George Kittle, who knew he was battling a shoulder and a toe injury at the same time? Because
come on,
all of a sudden he's showing up on the injury report, and then all the information men and women in the NFL this week are like, hey, this is serious. He might not play this Sunday. And then all of a sudden today comes out the news, it's 2 to 5 weeks. And look who's now in the spotlight in the starter's role, in the Purdy role from a couple years ago. For the San Francisco 49ers, 1-0, it is Mac Jones time.
Who?
Mac Jones time, sir.
Matt 10.
John Lynch today on KNBR, locally in the San Francisco area, giving us the latest.
What I can confirm is I talked to, obviously, our trainer, our doctor, Dr. Anderson, who's the preeminent foot and ankle specialist in the NFL. What we're dealing with is like kind of a week-to-week thing. So that's our information. Brock's doing well, coming back from it, and we'll just treat it as such. He's doing a nice job, doing everything he can to get back out there as soon as possible, and so that's where we're at.
2 to 5 weeks is what everybody in the NFL media world is saying. My buddy Rap Sheet reporting that one today, NFL Network.
Did I do this? Is this my fault for finally coming around and pledging my support and saying how great the Niners and Brock Purdy were going to be this season?
No, because guess what? If there's any team where you can't say this thing's over, it's toast, it's this team. And it's the guy who's replacing is a perfect example of it. A guy who started a ton of games in college and goes to the system and starts balling out and is now paid $50 and change a year because of how well he's performed here. And if Kyle Shanahan is a quarterback whisperer before Kevin O'Connell ever was, it's time to do it again. So you can't sit here and go, oh, that's the end of that. When Trey Lance was starting, everyone's just like, okay, we'll see what the kid's got. Then he goes and says, well, that's the end of that. Here comes Jimmy Garoppolo. They basically told him, hand in your playbook. He said goodbye after losing the NFC Championship game. Mm-hmm. And they took his playbook away. He was 19th string going in the summer. And then they decided at the end of the summer, you know what? We need you because we can't just go with this Purdy kid if we go down to that. And then they went down to that, and the kid balled out. He became Brock freaking Purdy. So what, we're going to sit here and say this is over now? Absolutely not. What, Mac Jones can't play football like he did back in his first year?
He was Offensive Rookie of the Year runner-up. And as we know, made the Pro Bowl. He was on the top 100 list.
Josh McDaniels was his offensive coordinator. The next year, the Raiders hire him away. And suddenly, it's the law firm of Belichick, Patricia, and Judge that's in his ear.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out. And it went south. And then he had the unfortunate circumstance of yours truly and Kurt Warner calling one of his international games. You got to have your head in a swivel when we do that. Ask Robert Saleh, ask Daniel Jones, ask Mac Jones. Anybody named Jones starting a quarterback over there in Germany, and we're calling your game, have your head in a swivel. Because Mac Jones threw those awful interceptions in Frankfurt, and see you later. Belichick was done with him, and he with Belichick. And now he's in this spot where everybody thinks you're in the perfect spot because it's Kyle Shanahan, and there is a roadmap to look at and show how it works. And the 49ers are in New Orleans. It's Mac Jones v. Spencer Rattler. If there's any winnable game, it should be that one.
Should be.
Notice I said should. You're home for Arizona, home for Jacksonville, and then you're at the Rams. If it's 2 weeks, then
on a Thursday.
It's a short week. On a Thursday. I mean, I don't know. Then you're at Tampa. So if it's 5 weeks, those are your 5 weeks.
What if Mac Jones goes 4-1? Then what?
then it's Brock Purdy's job to finish the season with a nice 4-1 stretch.
But why?
Because that's what backup quarterbacks are supposed to do. You're supposed to go in, you're supposed to win the games that you're supposed to win, and you're not supposed to lose. Don't do anything stupid, and hand it back to the guy that you paid $50+ million to. Ask Cooper Rush.
Yes, but here's the
Prescott.
thing. But here's the thing.
Come
Cooper
on,
Rush
bro.
wasn't the guy that the Cowboys maybe wanted in the draft, but the front office pushed the button the other way.
Right, but Dak Prescott's the guy that was making all those millions, just like Brock Purdy.
Yeah, but Brock Purdy wasn't the guy. He was in the 7th round. They wanted, Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones. So if Mac Jones he finally gets, and if Mac Jones is lighting it up and running the system the way that he knew he could 4 years ago,
yes,
then what?
Then you tell Mac Jones, great job. That's what we have you here for.
I don't know about that.
And then you hand it off.
That is not going to be the conversation on shows and on the local radio in San Francisco.
Understood, but I think the conversation in San Francisco and Santa Clara is like, this is why we got you. We believed in you back then. We believe in you now. We need you for 2 to 5 weeks while our big toe comes back from a big toe injury.
The big toe on the guy that's never played a full season.
I hear you. That's why you have Mac Jones. That's why you have a backup quarterback. You have a backup quarterback that can win you games in a 2 to 5 week stretch to keep things afloat for the guy you're paying 50 some odd million to, and the whole locker room and the whole front office clearly believes in.
This is the business we've chosen.
That's it.
I think
that's the business
we've
we've
all
all
big problems
chosen.
if Mac Jones goes 4-1.
Okay. Listen to Hyman Roth and listen to Rich Eisen. What do we have in common? I think you know.
You're both in your 50s?
Well, I'm just going to take a nap, and when I wake up, if the money's there, I understand. We have a deal.
How old was Hyman Roth in Godfather 2?
Well, I mean, he always lies about he's always honest about his age.
Yeah.
I can't make enough Godfather 2 references. I don't care how old that movie is. It's a freaking classic.
I'm just saying it kind of contradicts what we were...
Which is what?
Well, yesterday, like I said yesterday, when I brought up a person's name, and you're like, that was 17 years ago. No one remembers
I
that.
thought you were talking about that. You're talking about contradiction. This guy was like, Purdy's not this, Purdy's not that, Purdy's not this, Purdy's not that. And then on Overreaction Monday and the Rich Eisen Show for the last 2 months, you've been high on the Niners. Don't sleep on him. Purdy goes out and does what he did without half of his youth.
I have Purdy in half my fantasy
and
leagues.
You draft him,
Kittle in the
and
other
now
half.
You're trying to bench him for Mac Jones before
I'm not
Mac
trying to
taking a
bench him.
snap.
I'm telling you what the conversation is going to be when Mac Jones has 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in New Orleans and then goes and beats the Bucs and the Rams and the Cardinals.
If the Niners have a 4-1 situation with Mac Jones going,
they're going to be in first place with Mac Jones, and then you're just
awesome.
going to bench him?
And yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Except that was the guy that the coach wanted the whole time.
I got it. And then the coach went ahead and said, let's take a flyer on this kid, last pick in the draft, and look at him now. And he's also paid like this.
That was that part.
100%.
Say that again.
By the way,
you're not paying him to sit him.
A champagne problem the Niners would sign for right now.
Yeah, there's a guy getting paid in Atlanta who's just sitting there.
The original.
The original.
Yeah, there's always,
It's
some
just
sort of
money.
anomaly.
It's just money. Do you
They
care about
might
money
do
more
that.
or winning more?
They might do
the
that.
Cowboys' money.
If some, I don't even know who's the third stringer there. Who's the true Brock Purdy in this situation?
Well, let's just.
By the way,
move on.
Hyman Roth was 67.
Well, some guy named Curtis Rourke.
Oh, by the way, that's our friend from Canada, the smiley guy.
Yeah, the AI
Yeah,
guy.
the AI,
An AI guy.
where his headshot looked like an AI quarterback.
I completely
It does.
forgot
His
about that.
headshot still
Come
does.
up with a guy who
Confirmed.
plays in Canada who plays quarterback, and it would be great in the Shanahan system. You tell that to AI, and it comes up with a photograph.
He's got AI Sam Howell
Yeah.
vibes with this headshot.
By the way, I don't know if
about
you're
him.
scrambling for that photograph deep. We had that like 2 years ago. It's buried. It's gone.
Just pull up any AI picture.
Okay.
It'll suffice.
Dude, you're out of your mind. Listen, let's just play a game. Let's see what Mac Jones does in Arizona before we start, flash forwarding.
He looked decently at the end of last season with Jacksonville. Yeah.
Okay.
He got Brian Thomas into the top 10 in fantasy leagues this year.
So here we go. Let's see what the Niners do. It's Mac Jones time, and that's what you have Shanahan there for, and that's why you have Mac Jones there for. Let's go. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.